There's this sense that the left has just become so radical that we have walked away from our principles and our founding principles. And it was Donald Trump who was fighting for those principles as president. Are American Jews starting to leave the Democratic Party? Donald Trump was probably the most pro-Israeli president in United States history. Pro-Israel. He moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He did what no other president would do. What no other president would do, even though they promised. He did that, and he built a strong relationship with Israel. He even solidified one of the greatest peace deals, in my opinion, along with Jared Kushner, the Abraham Accords, which is still powerful, even under this regime, the Biden regime. I've got Siggy Flicker here. She has faced some media criticism. She was retruthed by President Trump, and that retruth caused a lot of commotion. And she is not afraid to stand up, to speak out, and to say what she means. She is the spokeswoman for Jexit, that's Jewish exit from the Democratic Party. She is a great friend of President Trump. They wrote about her in Newsweek and all these other magazines now. Everybody's out there writing about Siggy Flicker. She is famous for her role in Real Housewives of New Jersey, but she is a successful businesswoman, and she has been fighting anti-Semitism for a long time. So why are so many people going after her? And why did somebody tweet at her that she was a Nazi? She's Jewish, for crying out loud. And her father survived the Holocaust. In fact, you could say her entire family did. So what is going on that caused all this controversy? And are people finally speaking out? They are not afraid. People are not afraid anymore, and Siggy is one of them. And I can't wait for you to hear what she has to say. This guest is just way too much fun to keep you waiting. So let's get right into it. I've got Siggy Flicker on the line now. She is somebody who I have such admiration and respect for. And you are just being targeted, Siggy, right now by the radical left and even the radical left Jewish community. You're an Israeli-American relationship specialist, matchmaker, star of the smash hit show. You were on Real Housewives of New Jersey. But more important than anything, you're a spokeswoman for Jexit, for the Jewish exit from the Democratic Party, and you fight anti-Semitism.
100%. I was you're not even saying I was a lifelong Democrat until 2016, when I voted for the greatest president in the history of America. Let me say it for the people in the back who might have problems hearing. The greatest president and a personal friend of mine, Donald John Trump, who did more for America in the 4 years that he sat in the White House than any other sitting president, while being attacked and persecuted 24/7 by the radical left puppets, the media, all of them that are all connected to destroy this beautiful country.
Absolutely. And I was in Israel, and I can tell you this, he has so many friends in Israel, so many people who love him because he stood for Israel. He stood for what no other president would do, which was, and I want to, before I get into what happened with you, he moved that embassy. And despite everybody telling him not to, despite everyone saying that, he moved it from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It was incredible for me to go there and see the embassy in Jerusalem. Let's talk a little bit about that, Siggy, because your father was a Holocaust survivor. Your family is very well aware of what anti-Semitism is because you have fought it every single day of your life. What does it make you, how does it make you feel that you're being targeted right now over?
You know how it makes you feel? Sarah, I don't care. Lo echpat li. In Hebrew, lo echpat li. I'm on the right side of Israel. Hashem is on my side. I was born during the 6-Day War in a bomb shelter. You think that this intimidates me by speaking the truth? I don't care. I'm an Israeli who came here legally using the front door. I had to be vetted. They had to find out why my family was here. My father is a scholar. He ran Yad Vashem's Righteous Gentile division for over 24 years. He wrote 23 books on the Holocaust. He himself and his brothers, sisters, 7 of them, the mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, were saved by a Catholic priest in Evian, France, during the Holocaust, where they had to escape through the jungle, through the forest into Switzerland, where they were then separated from their parents and went into refugee camps for 2 years. I grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and every Friday night for Kiddush, my father would tell story after story about the Holocaust and why it's important never to forget and how important it is to be a proud Jew. And I used to say to my father, Abba, Lama? Lama kol hasipurim haele? Why do you keep repeating the same stories, Daddy? We're fine. We're safe. We're in America. And he goes, Siggy, my hyperactive, beautiful child. A nation that forgets its past has no future. If we don't keep on telling stories of the past, we're not going to have a future. And I said, but Dad, there's no anti-Semitism in America. Come on, look around us. We're loved here. And he says, you know what? Anti-Semitism is like cancer. When it starts, if you don't defeat it immediately, it grows into this big, ugly virus. And that's exactly what we're seeing today with the Democrat Party, with the Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Linda Sarsour, and that idiot who can't spell Bob backwards, AOC. How dare they call Israel an apartheid state? How dare they? Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. Israel is the only country that celebrates the LGBT community and respects the LGBT community. Israel is the only country where Arab Israelis can vote, can drive a car, can walk down the streets without a chaperone, without being stoned to death. Are you kidding me?
But the left, Siggy, but the left has targeted you because of your friendship with Donald Trump, with Donald John Trump, with President Trump. And this is unbelievable to me because it came with such a vitriol that even when I was talking to some of our mutual friends, I mean, you have been getting just all kinds of hate mail from Democratic Jewish people as well. And I just want to go over this really quick. Here is the text that President Trump retruthed from you, Siggy. It's just a quick reminder for liberal Jews who voted to destroy America and Israel because you believed false narratives. Let's hope you learned from your mistake and make better choices moving forward. Happy New Year. You said that for a reason.
I said that. Donald Trump did not write that. That's my post that he retruthed, and this is not the first time that he retruthed. He also retruthed other posts. He retruthed, and I listed the 6 things which he retruthed.
Correct.
Everything in that post is on point and true. When you vote for the Democrat Party, which is no longer the Democrat Party of our time, the JFK Party is not there. When you're voting for them, you are funding your own demise and you are voting to destroy Israel and America. If you want your children, or if you don't have any children and you want pets, you want them to grow up in a communist nation, this is what you vote. Then vote for the demon party. But if you want America to stay the greatest country in the world, and you want us to grow up in the land of the free because of the brave, and you care about your children and their future, you got to recognize that what was once the Democrat Party is no longer. And all this hate for the man, the big orange man, only because the false news, the fake news told you to hate him? How dare they call him an anti-Semite? I just had dinner with Donald Trump. My husband and I had dinner with him last week. I mean, his daughter is a Jew, an Orthodox Jew.
Right.
His grandchildren are Jews. I'm at Bedminster this summer, and it's wonderful to see the whole family and Ivanka and Jared there and the kids there and the mezuzah on the door and how they shomer Shabbat. How do you call this man, and I have to go through the Not only did he move the embassy, every president promised it, Sarah. He was the only one who had balls to do it. He recognized sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Do people who, all these liberal Jews, you talk about how much you love Israel because you only go to synagogue on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and when you daven, you face Jerusalem, but you'll vote against Jerusalem. You vote to defund the Iron Dome. You don't send your kids to Israel other than birthright. You'll go visit Italy and everywhere else, but you don't have enough balls to get on the plane and actually visit your homeland. Your homeland.
Why do you think that is, Siggy? What has happened? Because I was just with Republican congressional spouses. I gave a speech here in Washington. There were other very phenomenal speakers there. Molly Hemingway, Mercedes Schlapp was there, Benjamin Weingarten was there, and there's this sense that the left has just become so radical that we have walked away from our principles and our founding principles. And it was Donald Trump who was fighting for those principles as president.
Right. Well, this is what happens when you are scared and you live your life in fear. What happens is that you say, "Oh my God, I just want to join the team that the TV is telling me is winning." I think that people are so brainwashed that they're afraid to stand up. But if you don't stand up, you're not leaving anything for your grandchildren or your children. I mean, America is on a decline. You have to be living under a rock not to see it. You have to be. I mean, Donald Trump was so famous before he ran for president. He was the one. All American Jews, all Black Americans, all Latin Americans loved him. All of a sudden, he runs for president, and he can't be bought by the establishment. Right. He wants to bring back the moral compass of America, and all of a sudden, the establishment is like, He doesn't want to do what we want him to do. We're gonna crush him with false narratives. And the American people drank the Kool-Aid really fast. And now, as the facts are coming out, Sarah, the good news is many, 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 many people have left the Democrat Party because they're saying, "Listen, I might not like this man's delivery. I might not like his tweets, but guess what? His policies were on point. You can't call him a racist. Because look at what you can't call him an anti-Semite. Because look at the list of 6 things that this housewife, Siggy Flicker, whoever she is, she's correct. I'm getting more love than I am getting hate. People are like, "Listen, Siggy, thank you for having the chutzpah to stand up and say the truth."
Well, it's true. We're seeing it from the Hispanic community as well. I can tell you, I'm, part of the Hispanic Leadership Conference. I'm in Texas. I hear it from people along the border. We could see what's happening right now. Look at what President Biden has done literally to our nation. It's a dereliction of duty. It's his open border policy. He is literally breaking our foundation. And I think that the American people are waking up to this. I believe you. But how much more do we need to take? What do we need to do, Siggy, to get
That's a great question. And it's a question that I asked Donald Trump last week when my husband and I had dinner with him. And I said to him, "Mr. President, how much more do we have to take of this?" And I look at this man because, Sarah, I've traveled with him to rallies. I've gone with him because my best friend is Alina Habba, one of the greatest attorneys in America, who stands there and fights for justice and the truth and stands by our president. But he says, "Siggy, a lot of people are waking up, but it will take as long as it takes." Meaning he's in it to win it. He's not going anywhere. His poll numbers keep on rising for a reason. His poll numbers are rising because the American people are waking up and they understand that they've been lied to. They understand that this administration, and I don't want to say keep on bashing the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party is no longer there. Neither is the Republican Party. I mean, it's no longer there. It's crumbling before our eyes. But it's not, when people say, "You know what, I used to like you on Housewives and now I don't like you," I'm like, "Good. You and I would never be friends anyway." I can't sit at a table and talk to anybody who voted to destroy America. And at this point of the game, if you don't get it, honey, you need a lot of help. I mean, seriously, you're not watching it?
Do you think it's because of the weaponization of all these bureaucracies? I mean, I remember when I was breaking the stories with John Solomon in 2017, when we started to expose the corruption in the FBI, the corruption in the Department of Justice, the corruption straight through our system, and how the Democrats were basically utilizing all of these agencies and their leadership to target a duly elected president. And then obviously it was exposed. Do you think that and the culmination of what is happening right now, all the exposure on Hunter Biden and, the laptop from hell and all of the evidence that our president and his son were basically look and appear, and the evidence is showing that they were collecting funding and money and God only knows what else in the millions from China and other countries. Do you think that is actually reaching the American people enough that they're waking up, Siggy, just like you and others that were once Democrats?
Yes. And that's why a lot of Democrats are leaving the Democrat Party. That's why a lot of people are saying, wait a second. We have all this evidence about Hunter and Biden and all. I mean, it's right in front of them. And we have all, but then Donald Trump keeps on getting indicted. It's working brilliantly. You see, you couldn't tell the people. You had to show the people. If I walked 5 years ago when I said, guys, listen, I'm letting you know right now, Donald Trump is going to run this country like a business, and he's going to do ABC. He's going to shut the border, and unemployment's going to be down. And guess what else? Your gas prices are going to be $1.50. And guess what else? Your 401ks are going to be doing amazing in the stock market. People are going to say, Siggy, you know what? Show me the money. Show me what you're talking about. Now, after his presidency, I said, now I showed you. Now, this is what I'm going to show you next. In the next 4 years, you're going to watch somebody who doesn't love America, who's more interested in Ukraine and China than he is about America. What is the purpose of opening up the borders and allowing people who you have no idea why they're in this country without vetting them? And then our tax money is putting them up in hotels and giving them their Obama phones and giving them an allowance. I mean, what's going on in blue cities? And you have to show the people, because people who are living in New York are outraged. People who are living in blue-run sanctuary cities are saying, wait a second, you know what's going on? The people that I'm electing don't have good policies.
Right.
So maybe the orange man who didn't have the greatest delivery, he wasn't that bad. And when people say that to me, I said, I'm sorry. I know President Trump as being the most generous, the nicest, the most loves his country, married to a legal immigrant who is the most beautiful human being. When I'm in Melania's sight, I have to hold up my eyelids because I don't want to blink. I've never met anybody who was more elegant and sharp and funny and smart. I mean, 5 languages. You wouldn't put her on the cover of a magazine. His children are all could spell mom, dad, Bob backwards. They're all beautiful kids who know how to form sentences.
And love their parents. Love their parents.
They're such nice kids. You took this family, and every single day you came at them guns blazing, and this family is still standing strong, and his numbers are rising and rising. Sara, only one thing. The American people are finally awake.
I got to tell you, it's got to be the media, Siggy, because the media, and I've seen the stories out there, and we've seen what's happened from the very beginning, where the media was basically in bed with the Democrats and targeting. I mean, that failure to inform the public about the reality of what was happening in our country was, almost criminal. Because you're hiding the truth from the American people. And what about the fact that you have people like John Brennan, James Clapper, and James Comey, who are now being appointed to a national security board that is going to work with Alejandro Mayorkas at the DHS? I mean, these were the same people that lied about President Trump, that drug his name across the globe through a gutter and it was fully based on lies.
But Sarah, don't you notice it's always the same characters? They don't want to relinquish their power and money. You have to understand everything that these criminals are doing has to do with two things: power and money. And the other thing is a lot of people in the media are being blackmailed. Listen, you don't report this, you're out.
Right.
And I want to know, a lot of these people, I'm just putting it out there, who was on Jeffrey Epstein's island? I'm not just saying only Democrats. I think Republicans were out there too. I think the rhinos were out there too. I want to know, why don't we have the list of who was on that island?
Right. Why don't we have it? Why don't we have it? Why is Ghislaine Maxwell silent? Why are we supposed to believe lies? And anytime we ask a question now, the radical left wants to hold us hostage like we're conspiracy theorists. We can't even ask a question.
That's why we don't care anymore. You see, when you first asked me, the first thing you asked me is, I'm getting a lot of hate. Sarah, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm not getting that much hate. And you know what? I was getting that much hate 7 years ago. I want to say, Sarah, you don't understand. I'm not getting that much hate. And if I'm getting hate, I could just imagine it's probably some Soros puppet who was paid to sit in a room and just take down everybody who doesn't believe the false narratives. Who cares? You block and delete. I don't even allow comments. People are like, why don't you allow comments? I'm like, why would I allow noise in my life? I have a beautiful life. I go out there. I say what I have to say. You love me. Go on my DM. Tell me I get love all day long. I don't care. You know what I say? Every time I'm in the airport, every time I travel, the pilot, the steward, hi, Siggy, I just want you to know, I loved you on Housewives, but I love you even more now. Thank you for standing for this country and the greatest president.
Do you feel that people are still whispering, Siggy? Like, that was my big point in my speech today, is like, let's stop being silent. Let's support one another and lift one another. Let's speak out loud. Don't be afraid. There's more of us than there are of them. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that.
We are the majority, but I have to, be compassionate to the people who can't speak out. And a lot of people say, I can't listen. I don't work. I'm retired. I'm a national spokesperson. I do whatever I want. I lead a wonderful life. I'm 56 years old, and I was blessed to have a wonderful life because America gave me the opportunity to obtain the American dream, and I obtained it. Israel wouldn't have done that for me. No other country would have done that for me. I did it in America, which is why I will continue to fight for the greatest country in the world. But a lot of people say, Siggy, listen, I only have to whisper because I'm afraid of losing my job and I need to put food on the table. I was in you don't know how many celebrities in Hollywood have to have private dinner parties so they could talk about their politics. But if they said their politics, they wouldn't get the job in the movie. They'd be canceled. A lot of people can't afford to be canceled. So we have to be be compassionate to that and know that in 2024, nothing can stop what's coming. Biden is not going to be able to campaign from the basement and claim that he got more votes than Barack Hussein Obama, which was a very popular president. I hate to admit it, but I have to admit facts.
Right.
Campaign from the basement and he couldn't fill up 6 circles. Donald Trump, when I traveled with Donald Trump recently to South Carolina, to Pickens, when we got off the plane, Sarah, I was in shock. 30 minutes from the rally, the streets were lined with thousands of people. I said, I've never seen anything like this in my life. 80,000 people showed up. He's not even president now, right? 80,000 people just showed up. This man is packing in stadiums because a lot of people in there are the silent majority that say, hey, listen, maybe I can't be a Sara Carter and a Siggy Flicker and open up my big mouth now. But guess what? I'm voting for you, sir, because there is nobody, no other man that could get the job done. There's only one man standing between tyranny and the Constitution, and it's Donald John Trump.
Hey, folks, gold and silver allow you to protect what you've worked so hard for. And don't you want to protect it? That's why I'm so grateful to have Allegiance Gold as a sponsor of the Sara Carter Show. So I can bring you all of these remarkable, great guests, and I can help you protect your assets. And what do I say? Diversify, diversify, diversify. And right now you'll get $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. Get up to $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you visit protectwithsara.com today, or give them a call at 877-702-7272. That is 877-702-SARA, S-A-R-A. Don't wait. Take control of your retirement today. Call 877-702-7272 and speak with one of their experts. They'll answer all your questions and help you get started on the path to a more secure and prosperous retirement. Time is of the essence. Protect your future with Allegiance Gold. Visit protectwithsara, SARA.com, or call 1-877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, SARA. Shalom. If you love the American-Israeli relationship like I do, make sure you're subscribed here on Rumble and on your favorite podcast app. I don't care if it's Apple, Spotify, whatever you use. Subscribe to The Sara Carter Show. Give us a 5-star rating. Thank you. It really does make a difference. I wanted to ask you this. The big concern for a lot of Americans when I'm out there and I'm talking to them, they're saying, Sara, look, we're going to vote for him. But how do we know? How can we be sure? How can we be sure that we are going to be loud enough, strong enough, there are going to be enough of us to overcome any questions that they may have coming up in 2024 about the election? There are people out there that are really, really worried. They're still going to do it. What advice do you think we can give to them? And, as a spokeswoman, and especially when you're talking to the Jewish community, because remember back in 2020, the Pew survey was that 7 out of 10 Jewish Americans were supporting the Democratic Party. I don't believe that's the same anymore, but I don't know. What can we do to get people to see that this Democratic Party is not the same, that it will matter, that their vote will count?
Yes. Well, first of all, we don't have to do anything because the Democrat Party is doing the greatest job at showing them how useless they are. So let the Democrat Party continue to do their thing. And all we have to do is go out and vote. Why? There are no guarantees. They're still going to try to cheat. Who cares? We're going to overwhelm the system. And this time around, they won't be able to stop the votes at 4 a.m. to bring in the dump trucks and everything else that they're bringing in. At 12 o'clock at night, we were all celebrating. And then I got up in the morning and I said, wait a second. I know that I needed my beauty sleep, but what happened in the middle of the night cannot happen again.
Right.
Everybody needs to say there. No, I can't give anybody a guarantee because then I'd be phony, and I'm authentic and I say the truth. We have to go out there and do what's right for this country and the future generation of America, and we need to overwhelm the system. And right now, with his poll numbers going through the roof, we're doing just that. People are coming out. The silent majority, more and more of them are coming out to speak out every day. Nobody wants to send their kids to school where they're critical race theory and you're having boys and girls. And it's so crazy that I even have to list the craziness. Let the Democrat Party keep on doing what they're doing. Every time Kamala Harris speaks, it's like almost like it's like a commercial for Donald John Trump. Every time Biden gets on stage and he mumbles, it's like a commercial for Donald John Trump. Nobody has to do anything. You show the people, you let them be the useless puppets that they are. They have no passion for this country. They are all bought and paid for by the deep state and China. They all are showing their true colors. We patriots, we the people, we're awake and we're coming out in overwhelming numbers to overwhelm the system. And there will be no doubt that Donald John Trump will be back in the White House with his beautiful family where he belongs.
Wow, Siggy, that was amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of the Sara Carter Show. Where can my listeners learn more about Jexit and your amazing movement?
Jexit USA, Jexit.org, JexitUSA.org. Go visit Jexit. Donate whatever you can. We don't have to ponder to our donors. We don't need, we don't go out there and have donors, and we don't have to ponder to them. But help out whenever you can, and if do whatever you can. Just do whatever you can. Follow Jexit on Instagram. You could follow me, Siggy.Flicker, even though I'm censored and shadow banned. They think that they're hurting me. It's actually, they've given me such a tremendous platform that every day I have to thank the Democrat Party.
I do too. I mean, you're absolutely right, Siggy. You're absolutely right. Every time Kamala Harris opens her mouth, I think the polls jump like 5-10 points every time she opens her mouth. I think like people are, ready to go out and vote and get rid of this administration that is destroying their lives. And we're watching it. And I don't think the president has any better friend, President Donald John Trump, than you, Siggy Flicker. And that you have just really stood up for American values. You and your family are blessed. And, your fight against anti-Semitism is noble. And I feel so blessed to be a part of the Jexit family and to know you. And thank you so much for being.
Thank you, Sara, for everything you're doing. God bless you. Wishing you health and happiness. Shana Tova.
Again, thank you, Siggy Flicker, for being on the Sara Carter Show. I am with you in this fight to win our nation back. I know all of you out there who were listening to Siggy now feel invigorated. You want to get out there, do your part. I know it's tough. I know these are tough times. I know that a part of you, for some of you, it's like, man, I just want to be, as quiet as possible, but we've got to win this. It's only a year, right? From here until then. I mean, it's 2024, folks. So if it's getting out there in numbers and voting your conscience, doing what is right, if it's going out and volunteering, if it's donating to groups like Jexit, we have got to do it. That is how we are going to win our nation back, by standing up, by speaking out, and by not being afraid. Follow me on Truth at Sara Carter Official, on X at Sara Carter DC, and on Instagram at SCarterDC. God bless you. God bless Jexit. God bless our nation. And God bless the great state of Texas.